Going live. Let's see if it works. Facebook's working. Live. You're live.
Okay, hello Facebook Live. Good evening, everyone. We have today a special guest, my dear friend Sunny Gandara. We're gonna be talking about wine, vegan lifestyle, coaching, and some other things. So hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we were trying to do this interview for a long time, and
I know, busy bodies.
Yeah,
right?
because you're so busy with coaching and cooking and teaching, yes, and doing all sorts of stuff. So let me tell you, this girl, her bio is so long, I don't think so I'll be able to read everything, because she's multi-level, multi-passionate entrepreneur, amazing, person. So let me just read an intro. So Sunny Gandara is a vegan food and lifestyle consultant, certified wine educator, and trained professional chef. Yes, she's a professional chef with 25 years worth of experience in the field of food and wine, health and fitness, as well as branding and international marketing. She works with women as both private clients and businesses. As certified health coach specializing in plant-based nutrition, Sunny helps women adopt a vegan lifestyle through creating delicious plant-based meals and showing them a healthy, reviving life can even include a glass of wine or two. So we're going to be talking about wine, cheese, all sorts of stuff. She just coming with the ebook about, yes, Norwegian veganized food, because she's originally from Norway, and we're going to be talking about so much fun. So hello.
And hello.
There is more bio, but yeah, people can read it it's going to be attached to the video. So hello. So what shall we start?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What sounds interesting? I mean, we can talk about what I do for a living. I mean, I started about, I guess two years ago now. I started full time as an entrepreneur. So I was working in the wine industry at the time, and then I just decided to start coaching full time. So what I've really come to, really understand about myself is that what I get most joy from is working with women to really demystify veganism, right? Because I'm so passionate about this lifestyle. I went vegan about 4 years ago, and I just wanted to make a living out of it. That's how strongly I felt about it. So working with women to, again, like I said, demystify veganism, that I lead with food. So really, food is something we all have to eat, right? 3 times a day, or at least once a day, right? We are faced with a choice of what to eat. And that is what most people find very difficult, or they think it's difficult, but they're so used to eating a specific way that they can't even imagine, oh my God, if I can't eat meat or dairy, what do I eat? So really, I try to sort of normalize vegan food. I try to gourmet it up, as I like to say, make it really delicious. And just really, at the end of the day, food is food. And sometimes, you're already eating vegan food. If you're eating hummus and carrots, you're already vegan, right? So it's really not that difficult. So, but, there are some issues that I've seen. I specialize in cheese addiction. And
cheese addiction. I used to have that. I think a lot of people.
I think we all did, right?
Yes. Cheese and wine. I mean, the best thing ever.
So what I hear is that, oh, I wish I could go vegan, but I just can't give up cheese. And so what I first start with, because I really come from a place of compassion, right? I'm not one of those militant vegans who are like, murderer, you're not perfect, because that didn't work on me when I tried to go vegan. I really was attracted to a more understanding, more welcoming, more sort of step-by-step approach to becoming vegan. So I said, well, just be vegan and eat cheese then. And then they're like, oh, I can do that? Yeah, I said, yeah, of course. You start somewhere. If you want to eliminate chicken or you want to eliminate fish or whatever is easiest for you to eliminate, and then you're going to want to take the next step if it's your own decision. But if you have someone telling you, you can't eat this and you shouldn't eat that, and oh, don't eat that, and then you're overwhelmed, oh, it's another thing to do, right? So it's really, I know not maybe a lot of people or many people agree with that approach, because when you're really passionate about animals and when you understand what's going on in factory farming. It's really difficult to sit and just like, oh yeah, just eat cheese then, but I find that approach, just meeting people where they're at has been most successful for me. So cheese addiction is a big thing, of course. That's probably I would say almost 10 out of 10 of my clients come, and that's their biggest issue. That's their biggest hardship, So I just kind of got really excited about diving into the world of plant-based cheeses. I'm experimenting a little bit about making my own cheeses. I'm thinking about maybe down the line, making my own cheese line. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to really say anything now because I have a lot on my plate already, but that's something that I really would love to do because just showing people how delicious plant-based cheeses can be. I mean, even 4 years ago when I turned vegan, there were kind of crappy choices, to be honest. There are some, I'm not going to name brands, but
there are some not good ones. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not going to tell my clients or anybody who come to me like, oh, that's so awesome just because it's plant-based. It has to prove, because I am a food snob. I will say
and you
that,
are a chef, you professionally trained chef, and I had a chance to cook with you in the cooking class. I mean, she's amazing and her food is amazing. So this is somebody who you are like talking from a professional point of view, not just like I'm self-taught, chef, but you, so it's like gourmet food all the way. So it has to taste good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I try not to alienate people because I am so like, I'm picky about my flavor combinations and preparation, but that's me, I'm just so passionate about food. And when I first turned vegan, I was afraid, that I wasn't going to be able to eat the way that I love, because I love going out to eat and I love trying different things. And I was concerned, like many are, that it is a restrictive diet. And now I just see that, oh my God, how wrong was I, right? Because it's actually the opposite. I find that vegan cooks and chefs, there are 10 times more creative. I mean, not to say that omnivore chefs aren't creative, but I just see how much is possible with plants. And that is just so freaking inspiring. And not to mention how much prettier plants look. They have so many colors and so many textures and shapes. And I mean, and it's just good for you too, so you're not just eating saturated fats and hormones and pus and all this other stuff that you're risking when you're eating meat and dairy, but you're actually eating vibrant live foods and that have good energy and that is a high vibrational, nourishment. So I think it's a win-win, really.
Awesome. And we forgot to add that your husband is a chef too.
Yes, he is.
And he's not a vegan, but he cooks amazing vegetables and so.
Well, he's, it's, I get that question a lot. I do a lot of, I'm on Snapchat with my Norwegian audience because I'm originally from Norway. And it's very big in Norway, Snapchat. And so they always
And they love cheese, yes, Norwegian. I'm Polish, so Polish people, they love cheese. Yeah, it's like European people, they love cheese.
Yeah. And we have this brown cheese in Norway, that I actually still miss, I'll be very honest, but I won't eat it. And what's funny, I went on a little tangent now, but for me, I think when you have a deeper reason why you're not eating a certain food, like for instance, when I'm thinking about the horrific practices of the dairy industry, that stops me. Like, I love cheese. I mean, I don't think any vegan went vegan because they didn't like the taste of animal products. It's like, it's good, but I mean, we have a deeper reason why we're not eating it anymore. And then we're just finding substitutes that are just as delicious. But, we have this brown cheese and it's like, it's not even a cheese. It's like a caramelized, it's caramelized whey and it tastes like caramel almost. And I can't really describe it, but we're very known for cheese in Norway. So, but they always ask me, with my husband, because he's not vegan. He's actually, he eats everything. He's from Texas, barbecue country. And, how do you guys coexist?
I'm sharing this, so that's why I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sure. So like, how do you guys, coexist, because, how can you live together when he eats meat and it's, the thing is, he doesn't really eat a lot of animal-based foods at home anymore. Like, he'll let me cook and he sees how tasty plant-based foods can be now, and he's even like gone from milk to almond milk, and that was like a big struggle, but he's on it now. And so small steps. I don't think he'll ever be vegan, but that's okay because this is my journey and we respect each other, and I think that it works because I'm able to, he's considerate to my choices, and you know what, if he wants to have a little piece of steak out in the restaurant, I can't say anything to that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but at the same time, I love him, and I think that it works if you just agree on certain things, and we cook really delicious plant-based foods together. So that's
Yeah,
most
your
important.
pictures looks amazing. I mean, every time we don't live far. How far we live from? We both like an hour away, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little less than an hour.
But yeah, everything like you make, I'm like, oh my god, I wish you were my neighbor because I'm like drooling.
Well,
I see your
likewise, by the
pictures.
way, your dishes aren't exactly
Yeah.
they're delicious too, and I look forward to your book coming out as well.
Yeah, and your recipes in my book, my new
Yay.
cookbook, Live, Love, Light, and Fruits from Olenko's Kitchen. She, with one of the 50 other people, amazing friends from Olenko's Kitchen, she contributed amazing recipe with chickpeas because she's a chickpea lover. So yeah, I love
I
chickpeas
love
too.
chickpeas. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Can we make a cheese from chickpeas? Maybe and mix it with nuts?
I think that anything is possible.
Yeah.
They made miso from chickpeas,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can make. So I think that, this might be a topic we have to dive
I'm
into.
very excited for you. If you have a company, I know you used to have your own catering company. I would be so happy if you have the cheese company. So good.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I know
Because it
would have
goes
been
good with wine, right? Like
Yeah.
that's such a wine. We'll go into that, but
yeah.
I just think that is such a, when it made me so happy. I was at a restaurant and it's up here actually in Kingston, and I had a cheese platter, like a plant-based cheese platter with, all kinds of pickled vegetables and a nice glass of wine. And I was like, wow, I'm actually able to live just as I did before. It's just, you can create anything. And that is my sort of goal, is to really, again, just put the vegan cuisine on the map, like elevating vegan cuisine. I have, there's a few chefs out there that are already doing a wonderful job, like Matthew Kenny, he's the raw chef, has restaurants all over the world, that kind of style, like that kind of level, and really just kind of, playing with the big dogs, with, a Michelin star, that kind of stuff, that's kind of my field. And I'm really excited about elevating.
I see you, and I wish you like all the best, and I think it's amazing. And you're such a, I mean, you have like, when you have a vision, like we met, both in an entrepreneurial in B school, and like, yeah, I fell in love with you, from the beginning, because you just have so many amazing ideas. But let's tell people now maybe a little bit about wine, because I've learned from you. I didn't know. I thought wine is vegan, and you told me no, not all the wines are vegan, and beer too. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different schools in the vegan world. Some people are very particular about their wines being vegan, and it's not that animal products are left in the wine, but it is when wines are in the process of being finished, basically when they're fined and filtered. So you fine and filter wine basically to stabilize the wine and to make it look clear, because actually natural wine will be a little hazy, and there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, there's a lot more interesting flavors that way. However, the consumer wants the wine to be pretty and to be clear and to be perfect. So they will go ahead and then do these fining and filtration processes where they will use animal products from, this is old tradition, right? I mean, like fortunately now more and more companies are stepping away from using animal products, but it can be anything from fish bladders to egg whites to crustacean shells. Even some really old school countries in Europe use blood. That's not allowed here in the United States, but, and they will use that to filtrate out the wine. So, being, super strict vegans will of course not support any products that, where animals have been used in any shape or form. So you could even go into, which I am, and this is maybe then the more sort of, strict school, is the biodynamic wine. So I'm not going to go into super detail about biodynamic wines, but really where you're harvesting and you're pruning and you're planting according to the moon, the phases of the moon. And what they do is they actually use cow horns, and they fill cow horns with sort of poop, right? For manure. That's what that was the word I was looking for. And they dig those. Of course, they don't kill the cows to get the cow horns, but it's probably leftovers from when they're killing cows for meat or whatever. But they use the cow horns to dig down into the dirt. So they think that is a really good nourishment for the vines. So technically then biodynamic wines, even though it's not fined or filtrated, so they don't use any animal products in the production process. However, they're using cows maybe to plow the soil. So they're using the animals, and then also using those cow horns. And there's other things too. I think like rodents and things they use to litter, so to keep the insects away. So there's all kinds of things, like you could get really, really, strict with it, or you could just say, listen, like I tend to do. I don't always drink vegan wine, but I only promote vegan wine in my practice because I feel like that should be highlighted more and more, and that people should be aware that, if they really don't want anything, animal products at all, they should be aware that not all wine is vegan.
And you teach classes about wine. So can you tell, you have actually coming one soon, yes?
Yeah, so I have a class, actually just starting to do some local classes here. I was just involved with a local, it's called Hudson Valley Women in Business. So this is a local female entrepreneur group. So I got to know another health coach, Alison Chuggerman, and she's amazing. She's been a health coach for 18 years. So we're throwing a class, wine and food pairing with plant-based foods on Wednesday here in Wappinger Falls.
This Wednesday, November.
Yes. November 8th, and it's from 6 to 9 p.m. We actually do have a couple of spots available. I wasn't going to offer them last minute, but we do have 2 more spots. If anyone's looking, watching this, or even on replay, if they want to sign up, I can provide the link.
I wish I can come, but Wednesday I'm busy. But otherwise I would have been there.
I know.
Wine and cheese, my favorite.
We'll do others,
yes,
for sure. But yeah, this is a really fun class because essentially what it is, it's a cooking demo, so that you get a chance to see how the class is actually, how the foods or dishes are put together. And then we meet you with a glass of bubbly, and you have an appetizer, and then we go through 3 courses, and we have 4 different wines, and I'm going to explain why this specific wine pair, obviously, with the certain dishes we're doing. We're doing a holiday theme, so there's going to be like meatloafs, as I call them, with mashed potatoes and barbecue sauce. There's going to be creamy parsnip soups and all kinds of things that you wouldn't think was vegan, but actually is. And then really going into how to pair wines with vegetables, because traditionally people think it's so difficult to pair wines with vegetables, but it actually has a lot to do with the cooking method and all these different things. So you'll learn a lot during this evening, but you'll also have a lot of fun.
So what's your favorite wine? Do you have like a favorite one or a favorite region?
I do have a favorite region. So I guess if I was like really forced, up against a wall to say a region, because it's kind of like asking who's your favorite child, because there's so many wines, But Burgundy for sure, Pinot Noir, especially the red wines of Burgundy are, and obviously I'm not alone in thinking that. So that region is my favorite. Also, I really, really love Spanish wines. I think there's some amazing things going on in Spain with very new, hot winemakers that are into making really crazy natural wines. They don't do a lot of manipulation in the winery. They basically just love the land, and they respect the land, and they're really proud of their heritage and where they're from. And I find that that's what's so fascinating with wine, because it's a living organism in a bottle, and it just keeps changing. And you can learn so much from drinking a bottle of wine. You can learn about culture, you can learn about history, geography, traditions. I mean, how other people live. I mean, that's what's fascinating with me, and that's why I keep including it in my practice too, just because it's fun and it's interesting.
That's what I love about you I love you as a friend, but I also as a health coach, because you, like I say, just drink wine, drink coffee. Even I wrote this in the poem, and water, just make it intertwine, and juice and smoothie, because there are some health coaches, they like, oh no, you can't drink coffee, you can't drink wine, you can't drink, it's like, no. And people are like, who's going to do this? It's like a vegan police, like a health lifestyle police.
Yeah,
nobody can live like that. We are humans, so we have to enjoy.
I think it's it's a really, really good point, and it's something that I base my practice on myself. It's really not to look at food as good or bad. I mean, just because you have a donut, it doesn't mean you're going to have that donut every single day. But like, to look at things like, oh my God, now I was bad, and to shame yourself, that just makes you want to do it even more. It's like that little kid in you, like, oh, you're saying no, I want it more, and then you keep thinking about it and obsessing about it. And the same with wine. It's like, oh, wine, I can't have wine because I'm gaining weight or it's too unhealthy. I mean, we're not sitting here drinking like 2 bottles at night. We're just having a glass or 2 with our dinner every other night or whatever, maybe 2 nights a week. And I think that is healthier, because you're actually allowing yourself to be joyful and enjoy life. And that is being healthy too. because there's a lot
Exactly.
of stress, you know, that can build up around trying to be perfect, and everything I put in my mouth has to have a purpose, you know, like it's not necessarily that. I mean, I have eaten whole foods my whole life. Of course, I wasn't vegan, but I've never, I mean, I don't have any health issues. Of course, this is, you know, different for person to person, but I believe in just eating healthy most of the time, and then just allowing yourself those treats. You know, if you're going to have a cookie, who cares how much sugar it is? Like if I wanted a healthy meal, I would just drink a green juice. Like just allow that to be what it is. You know, that's my philosophy.
Awesome. I completely agree. And I forgot to add that the streaming device, the platform that we're using, I want to say something because this is something cool. So it's my friend, my husband's friend, David Pleasant, and he's the director of sales and marketing. And we are using Friend Chat. And this is from the Friend unifying platform to conduct all the interviews. And this is something cool that we're using. And I was even saying you can even use it when you teach, because you also teach online vegan classes. So if somebody cannot join you in person, you're teaching virtually. So you can even, you know, instead of using Skype or something. But yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was really excited to hear about this because last year I started, because I did in-person wine classes, and somebody from Norway contacted me. She goes, I'm having these, you know, couples over and we want to do a vegetarian dinner. Why don't we just do a wine tasting, a virtual wine tasting via Skype? So they hooked me up via their computer to their TV, and I was sitting here in New York going through the wines with them. They were sitting in northern Norway, and I gave them recipes for plant-based dishes, and I sourced their wines based on where they're from, because it's really easy to find wines in your region. You just use a tool called wine-searcher.com, and you can actually plug in wines, and you can see where in your area what kind of shop has the wines that you're looking for. So it's really simple, and then you can email them a leaflet that they can print out, and they can have the tasting sheet. I mean, there's so much you can do now with technology. So that's my kind of like next thing. I really want to do a lot more of the virtual wine tastings because it is fun, and it's almost like you're sitting in the room with them.
Yeah, this is really cool. And I think you talked to me about this before. One day I'm telling you should have like a retreat. I'm coming, like a wine retreat for Europe, like Spain and Italy and Portugal with wines. And I'm like, I want to be with you because you have so much knowledge about wine, and you used to work in the music industry. And I mean, this girl is like, she lived it all. I mean, she's so much fun. So we can dance and play music and go mushroom picking.
You know, that was my first job was in the music industry. I was in there for 10 years and really have a background in marketing and branding international celebrities, but they didn't start off as celebrities. They started off small. I mean, I worked with, Gwen Stefani before she was big, when she was in No Doubt and played CBGB's downtown in tiny little, place in New York.
That's awesome.
And all these other, and Justin Timberlake when he was 14 years old and had like mismatched socks and snot running down his nose, So this is really fun, and to see them kind of grow into these superstars that they are. And that was really fun, and kind of using that, that knowledge now and that experience into my own brand and my own clients, because like you said in the beginning, I also work with vegan businesses on branding themselves, on copywriting. I do copywriting. I love writing. I think
you're a great writer.
Thank
if
you.
anybody needs copywriting or writing, writing is not my thing, but you are an amazing writer. So
you
can hire. And this is not your language. This is English is your second language. So it's amazing. Because I wouldn't never know. Your writing is better than some people who live in this whose English is first language.
And I could say probably that I'm not a very good writer in Norwegian now because I've forgotten like half of the words, right? So, but yeah, so my blog Arctic Grub is a Norwegian blog, and that's where I started really expressing my writing. And I was feeling homesick, right? And I wanted to look up some recipes and recreate Norwegian food at home. And this was before I went vegan. And I found a lot of recipes and how to make food, but I didn't really find why do we make this food? What was the background for how did this dish come about? So I got really interested, and I started digging into traditions and how they came about. And I've just really basically, come across this Norwegian American.
From Norway.
What?
The guys who make Friend are from Norway.
Oh, my husband just told me the guys who make the company Friend Chat are from Norway.
Oh wow! Yay!
This is so awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. So it was meant to be today.
Yeah.
So
you made new friends from
new friends. I know. I love that. And
through friend.
Yeah, right. I am trying to get more like my client base in Norway now, because I've gotten a lot of interest in Norwegian veganizing Norwegian food. You know, when
this is heavy on meat, yes, Norwegian traditional.
Heavy.
It's like Polish, yeah.
Yeah,
and potatoes, yeah, like hearty, yes.
Smoked salmon and herring and all that, and like of course eggs and dairy, and like it was almost like what should I do, because I had my blog, like I said, and it wasn't
your blog is amazing. I mean, it's so popular, and you have like all this. She makes this amazing cakes and all this. I mean, like you have to check it out. I mean, your blog in Norwegian, the Norwegian one is in Norwegian, yes, so we can.
It's actually no. It's
you started in English, okay, because it used to be. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really geared towards the American audience, but I've now gained, audiences from all over the world, and it's kind of grown on its own, because there is a real interest in Nordic and Scandinavian cuisine, but I found a lot of the times it's mostly about Swedish. We hear about Swedish meatballs and ABBA and IKEA, but I was like, well, here we are, I'm from Norway, and nobody wrote about Norwegian cuisine. So that's why I started this blog. And now just found all these Norwegian Americans who are so proud of their heritage. And of course, they were very traditional and eat all kinds of animal products. So when I went vegan, I was worried that they were going to kind of drop me, but they don't.
From Cancun.
And so they have stayed with me, and now again, this is my ebook that I'm working on. It's basically 60 classic recipes from my blog. So that's veganizing Norwegian food, and you will be amazed. Like even smoked salmon can be made into from carrots, right?
You can. I mean,
you can do anything. Yeah, so it's really a fun project for me.
Oh, jackfruit tacos, yes.
Yeah.
Which your husband, I think you help your husband, and he won an award, yes.
Yeah, my husband works for Twitter, so he is the executive chef for the employees here at the headquarters.
I think I'm gonna interview him one time too.
Okay. We'll see, right? And so he participated in a nationwide competition with all of the chefs he has a nationwide company that he works for, and the topic was making barbecue food healthier. And he had seen me cook with jackfruit in the kitchen and was inspired to try it. And first he was very skeptical, like, what is that? And then he tasted it and was like, oh my God. So he had decided to make a jackfruit taco, and he ended up winning the whole competition.
I know, that is amazing.
It's really cool. So it's just another point that, lead with example. Don't try to get your family members to become vegan because you've seen the light. Like, you just show them what can be done, and just show excitement about the food. Like, look how amazing it is. And they'll be naturally curious, and then they'll make their own decision. Because as we know in coaching isn't about telling people what to do, or like what you should do, Alexandra, is, you really are inspiring that person to come to their own conclusion, because only they know what's right for them. And the same thing for us. It can be difficult to see our loved ones not see the light, right? And not go down the route of becoming vegan. But at the same time, we have to trust the process, that they're exactly where they're meant to be. And you can just inspire them, educate them, but with love, not, lecture them, and just provide information. And then they make the decision on whether or not they want to, dive into that further.
That's what I do. That's why I became a coach. I mean, people used to always, because I used to cook all my life since I was 5 years old, and then I stopped eating meat when I was 10 years old. So, so for all my life, being raised and living in Poland, they were eating meat, and I mean, they eat a lot of vegetables, and they used to always experiment. My mother used to say, make revolution in the kitchen. So, but people always used to be curious about my dishes. So till this day, I always bring a dish with me, like wherever I go, and people are always very excited about my food. And the thing is, that's why I started my blog, Olenko's Kitchen, because, people were like, oh, what are the recipes? I'm like, there are no recipes because I just cook like from my head. Is that how you cook? Because you're professional trained chef, or do you have like your recipes or do you?
No, I think it's mostly like I use recipe books or cookbooks for inspiration, but I never follow them. Like, oh my God, I forgot half a teaspoon of this. It's more of giving me ideas. But I am actually doing a course on flavor combinations down the line because it's really more about cooking
Online or in
intuitively.
person?
It's online for now because I do have an online business, but that doesn't mean that I won't be open to doing them in person here in New York or wherever in the world, right? But it's really more about cooking intuitively because a lot of people are busy these days. They don't have the time, even though they download a recipe ebook and they're like, what's the chances they're going to open up and just go through and like, okay, now let me go get the ingredients. They're just not going to do it on a regular day. You want to have a basic knowledge and idea of like, okay, what's in my fridge, and which ingredients will go well together. How can I create a quick, really simple and flavorful meal? So that's really my thing, is like teaching you how to taste, because a lot of people we all have the capacity to develop our palate, even with wine, right? You have the capacity to become a master taster if you want to, but that part of the brain we just kind of like, put in the back and we don't really use it, but you have to train yourself. Same with food, like train yourself to really taste flavorful food. It's kind of like when you go vegan and you start to taste all the flavors, like, oh my God, a carrot, like you're starting to really taste food because you're not just putting salt and barbecue sauce on it and whatever, like you're really starting to appreciate the flavors. And so when you get that there, I think that it becomes much easier. Yeah, I love cookbooks. I mean, I have 3,000 of them. I collect them. But I think it's more like just because I find it so inspiring to see other people's work and what they do with food. And that, again, inspires me in the kitchen. So that was my long-winded answer to you. But yes, more and more I do cook more from my head than from recipes.
Yeah, I'm all about intuitive cooking and living. I mean, I'm an artist and an art teacher. So that's like what I do. I'm like, always trust your intuition. And I'm all about like making a mess and getting hands dirty, hands-on and trying, experimenting. And really, don't you think that because we both were raised in Europe and, we were eating meat, but we were eating plant-based food because we were eating a lot of vegetables and everything was like homegrown. Do you think that our taste buds were more like, spread out? And I feel like a lot of people here living and being, raised in the United States and eating a lot of junk food, processed food. And I'm not criticizing anybody. This is just like I'm making an observation. They just not used to eating all this variety of different. So I feel like their taste buds may not jump for joy when they're going to eat kale. They'd be like, because it does take sometimes, you have to try something many times, or it's maybe weird taste. So
well, I think you and I have a similar upbringing also, that we were very fortunate to grow up in a home where food was made from scratch, and your mom and my mom, my
and
dad
grandma
had a garden. So we had a garden and we planted things and we had fruits and vegetables and everything was from scratch. And another thing is, I'm not that old, but like, back in the day, so to speak.
No, you're young and beautiful.
Yes, thank you. But, traditionally food, dairy and meat, especially, and still today, but like, people in Norway are much more wealthy now than they were before. But, meat was a luxury, so that wasn't really eaten very much. So, there were a lot of grains and barley and, root vegetables and things like that people would eat, more so than, cream and, those luxurious ingredients now that you see people are indulging on a regular basis in Norway now. And never before has there been so much obesity, heart disease and cancer in Norway as there is now, because people are eating meat 3 times a day. So there is definitely correlation, and whether or not you see, if that's the reason or not, it's definitely indicating that it is, But
it's also globalized because the fast food restaurants are everywhere,
exactly.
McDonald's, Burger, they everywhere, like in every country. I mean, I've traveled the world, and like Starbucks are everywhere, and like, in China and India. I mean, it's like McDonald's are everywhere. So it's, so people who maybe not used to eating these foods a few years ago, now everybody is eating, and it's not so healthy. So even if somebody is not vegan or doesn't wish to be vegan, just, minimize the amount of eating of plant, of animal, produce, and especially cheese. I think dairy is very addictive because it's made up from hormones. Can we talk about a little bit about how, the cows? I mean, I don't want to get too graphic, but I didn't even know, I thought just my grandmother had a cow because she was a farmer in Poland, and the cow always made milk, had milk. I even used to milk the cow, and I was like, cows just make milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people think that, yes?
I think it's, in fact, shocking. I had a talk with a fellow health coach the other day, and she didn't even know. She's like, but there are dairy cows. And I was like, no, they have to have, they've had to have given birth, to lactate. So, this is why it's important to educate, because it's not to ridicule or, oh my God, you didn't know that, because, we didn't know it. And then there's certain things that I didn't know, like, oh yeah, they just get together and they have a baby. No, they inseminate them, and it's like, it's a really sort of rough process. And like I said, we won't go into the details here, but
and they put a lot of hormones in them, and then when we eating the milk and the dairy, that's what is very addictive, because that's why there's a lot of cheese addiction or like milk, because it's it's like it makes you relax, or I don't know, there's all these studies done with brain.
There's proven now research, cheese contains casomorphins, which is the same thing as if you're taking opiates, like morphine, essentially, like the brain has the same reaction to cheese as it has to drugs, essentially. So that's why there is a reason why 99% of the population can't give up cheese, because it's addictive. It's proven to be addictive. But that's why I, in my practice, introduce people to even making your own, very, very simple to make your own creamy things at home, like cream cheese or yogurts or things like that you enjoy. But that can be just as tasty and made from cashews, for instance, right?
Almonds,
typically,
macadamia nuts.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just a learning process. It's something new. It might be intimidating right away, just like kind of with wine, like, oh my God, I don't know what to get at the wine shop. But if you just open up a little bit to just learning a little bit, your world can open, so to speak, and then your health will be much better for it too.
Some people are like saying, "Oh, wonderful!" And actually, David Pleasant, who developed the French, who is the manager, director of sales of the marketing, he's watching you from Cancun. So
nice.
Everybody's watching you. The whole, it's so funny. The whole, chat, friend chat, people.
Oh, thank you, Melanie, watching too.
Yeah, so you made some new friends. But yeah, we're the only species from all the species who drink other species milk.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's just,
no, it's funny because, if you think about drinking rabbit milk or, I don't know, rat's milk, you were just kind of like, ugh. But for some reason, we've normalized cow's milk because it's been in our, obviously in our history and tradition for so long, but it's all about conditioning. Like, it's not because it's the right thing. So that's another thing I really talk to, not just with my health coaching clients, but also my business clients, is like, really, what have you been conditioned to believe? And is it really true? Like, start asking questions. Don't just assume that this is the way we've done it, so we must just continue. I mean, can you imagine if everyone thought that? We'd still have slavery, we'd still have, all kinds of, injustice in the world. So really, it's, I think the animals now are the next step up. They're the ones that need to have a voice. And when they don't have a voice, we need to be their voice for them. And we can do it in a way that, is, easing people into it, to start to realize how abused they are. And, of course, you have the argument like, well, I have backyard chickens and I have this and that, but that's not really the point, because it will, if you are already requesting milk, requesting the meat, that's how business works. Well, somebody wants it, so we have to produce more of it. And that's when you get the factory farming. So you're really encouraging the use of animals. And I think that it's something to be to think about, if I can live, and I'm not saying that being vegan is the only way to be healthy, because that's just not true. So there's a lot of, different things there too. But if you can be healthy and not harm another another being, why wouldn't you choose that? That's where I'm sort of stuck a little bit, right, with people.
Because we both vegan, because I'm not just plant-based, I'm actually vegan for the animals.
Yes. So. Yeah, that's true. Of course, there's plant-based. There are a lot of plant-based folks, and I think it's great because it really starts, like I said in the beginning, with food. The more plant-based people that are out there, the better. And I think that can be a natural progression into veganism, because they may not be ready to give up their, beauty products that are tested on animals or this and that, but eventually they will be ready, because it's a process. And I don't think it works for anybody. I mean, it worked for me, but I'm a little bit different. I did go vegan overnight when I watched like Earthling or something.
Yeah, I sent this to my friend Lydia, and and she says, "Why did you send it?" And then she says, "No more meat for me." It's like,
But for most people, it is a gradual process, and to be honest, it's probably the better way, because it really will be foundational and be
like I did gradually. I stopped eating meat, and I was pescatarian. I was still eating fish, and then I was vegetarian for many years. And I think 7 years ago, I got really interested into raw food, and then I became high raw vegan. So but there was for over, I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but many years, So
I got you beat, I think.
Yeah, but so it's I'm the same way. We're not trying to make people uncomfortable or saying that iWay is iWay or the highway, but just you as a consumer. I say this all the time. That's why I'm doing these interviews. Have a right, because with every dollar every dollar we spend, we're voting. We think we're voting for president, or now it's election day tomorrow here in the United States, but you're voting every day. Every time you go by to the gas, you to the grocery store, pharmacy, whatever you put that money, or even online, because now most of the people buy stuff online. So be conscious, is this good? First of all, do I need it? I always say this. Second of all, where is this coming from? Because, there's also a lot of, exploitations of people, we think there's no slavery, but yes, a lot of companies exploiting humans, exploiting animals, and it's so bad for the environment. So, we as consumers, I think we really need to educate ourselves and really check out and go behind the scenes what's going on, and ask call the companies, ask, research, and if you don't get answers, usually there's something going on, because usually when the people are honest, they will tell you. So.
And I think you brought up something earlier. You say you were being mentioned conscious, and the conscious living is really become so super important now, because I do feel that whatever you're eating or buying into that has bad energy, you're going to ingest that energy, whether you're eating meat that was going through horrific, being slaughtered and being tortured and was scared before it was eaten. That energy will then go into you. And you see a lot more, honestly, even here in New York, a friend of mine from Norway came, and he comes sort of every few years, and he says, New Yorkers have just gotten so angry. And I mean, we never thought New Yorkers were, other Americans might think, oh, New Yorkers are so rude, but I never thought that. But I do see the difference now. People are short-tempered, and they're just really, there's an energy shift. And I believe that a lot of it has to do with what we're eating. We're just feeding our bodies the wrong things. But also, I think there's a bigger shift in consciousness to a larger population that are now seeing that, and they're moving towards more sort of the slow movement again, which I think is really nice. So just keep spreading the word, and that's how we do it. That's how we change it around.
Yeah, I mean, this is another conversation for another time, but I'm into spirituality. I know you're into spirituality, do spirituality and food. And yes, we no longer in the third dimension, we are in fourth dimension, moving to fifth dimension, which means living from the heart. And you can watch other interviews. I interviewed some other people talking about this, and it's really not about me, but it's all about us as a collective. So again, everything you do, this conscious living affects you, your loved one, the planet, the animals, because we are all connected, because we are one. At the end, we are one. So, it really, the energy is just, it's just coming and going. So, spreading love and be nice about it, because there are some angry vegans. I met some too, and it's
absolutely. That's why I said, there's no, there's no perfect people out there. And when you're trying for perfection, it's when you're getting really frustrated and stuck and resentful. So it's really about doing the best you can and having fun and eating lots of delicious.
Exactly.
And that's why I advocate having a glass or two of wine. Because life is too short, Yeah,
and dancing. So what else shall we? So what did I forget to ask you something. Hold on. I'm gonna be asking you some other questions, but let me
okay.
see. So do you, if somebody wants to do coaching with you, do you do like one-on-one coaching? Do you do group coaching? What's your website? I mean, they have the links, but you can tell us, to find you, when they can find you.
Yeah, I do one-on-one coaching. Not, I don't have a lot of spaces for my one-on-one coaching, but I do them. So I have one program where I teach. I basically help vegan entrepreneurs start businesses, or if they already have a business, I help them, like I said earlier, with branding or positioning themselves, using the right copy. Sometimes, copy can be all end all. I mean, for me, I find that, spending some money on copy, not because I'm a copywriter, but I think it's just much more effective to get your message out in the right way rather than spending a lot of money on a website when you don't even know your brand yet. So me as a copywriter, it's not just, I don't work as a copywriter just isolated. I work in tandem with branding. So I really find out who you are, what you're about. And this came about, like, again, of course, I worked with a lot of big brands, celebrities before, but also my own brand, just by staying true to who I am and leading with food. And people were like, wow, it's so clear what you're about. And so other people came to me, I want to be that clear. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the business side. On the health coaching side, and I don't really love calling myself a health coach. I don't know why I have this like aversion to the word health coach. And
So what do you like? A life coach?
I don't know. I guess I just like, I help women, like, again, it's just like demystifying veganism. And like, I know that they come to me because there's a deeper desire in them to, either it was because they don't want to contribute to, being, abusing animals, or they've had some sort of health issue, whether it's, it could be anything from like they want to lose weight, or they have really low energy, or they might have some type of, IBS or colitis or something, gut related, that they have been told that they need to clean out their diet. So doing sort of like a detoxification and cleansing and going back to basics is what I call it, really eating food versus eating all that processed crap because it's got 10 calories, It's really more about like having a normalized food. So that's one course. So I do one-on-one on both.
So what's your website for that?
SunnyGandara.com, which is going to be under sort of revision also to focus more on the vegan side, and also my blogging, because I do love to blog. So my blog is arcticgrub.com. So if you want to check out some vegan Norwegian recipes and read a little bit about a Norwegian culture, that's that. But sunnygandara.com is going to be the umbrella that eventually in 2018, everything is going to go under that. But that's the best way to
That's where the ebook is going to be under?
The ebook is going to be, yes, I'm going to load that up onto the site. So the ebook will be coming out. I'm just shooting for Monday. Now I have like
oh, wow, so soon. Wow, you're busy.
So let's say November 15th, not to shoot myself in the foot, but yeah, so that's going to be 60 plus recipes. It's going to be a really cool book. My favorite books, there's actually a couple of exclusive recipes. One is with of lefse, which is like the most famous pastry in Norway, and it's my mom's recipe. So my grandmother's recipe that I haven't even shared on the blog yet. So that's going to be there, and it's veganized. It's actually easy to veganize, believe it or not, but it is a very old school recipe, and it's $19.99. I'm putting it on sale from $24.99. It's going to be over 100 pages, so it's well worth it. And those, recipes are, they're just really fun to make.
That's awesome. And so, and then we also do the cheese classes. So you do in private, you do coaching for brands, and you also do the classes. So you're really busy one. And you have doggies, you have puppies. I mean, she loves dogs, and
my doggy mommy. So full-time doggy mommy too. I work from home, of course, but that's what the beauty of it, that I get to spend my time with my puppies, because they really are my world. So I have 3 dogs. I have a Great Dane and I have 2 Cane Corsos, Italian Mastiffs. So they're awesome.
Are they chewing your shoes?
No, you know what? I'm really good about giving them bones. Okay. They're not vegan. Here's another thing.
Oh yeah, I mean they can't. Yeah.
It's one of those things where I just it's a fighting battle with a lot of vegans, because technically dogs can be vegan, but honestly, like, that's not what they're meant for. So they do not.
I don't know. I have a friend who is a holistic vet, and she said that she has a lot of clients. I mean, some people who bring like cats and dogs, and they want to veganize them, and they get very sick. So I think you can give them fruits and veggies, but
choice. I mean, I'm not going to say for or against it. I think that's a personal a choice that we have to do. Of course, cats can't be vegan, but with dogs, it's just I see the difference between their excitement when they get a piece of meat and when I give them an apple. So that's kind of my my answer to that. But anyway, they're awesome, and I love them. And we rescued Scooby. He was chained up to a fence his whole life, and now he's like living la vida loca on the couch here. So that's I feel like really good about that.
That's awesome. And they get along?
Oh, they love each other. They're like so attached.
They're huge. They're gonna be huge.
Yeah, they're about 125 pounds is my biggest one, and then the other one's gonna be even heavier. He's only 4 months, so a lot of food.
Awesome. But she's a huge animal lover like I am. So now I'm gonna ask you some questions to just change things a little bit. So,
sure.
First question is, if you could meet, this I ask everybody, all people that I interview, if you can meet anybody from the future, from the past, from present, who would you meet and like spend a day with, and what would you do and why?
Oh my goodness, that's like putting me on the spot right there. So many people I would love to meet.
No, only one.
Oh, who would I want to meet? So from the past or future?
Future or present, or could be anywhere. If you can go in any dimensions, travel in time.
Yeah. I probably would have said, I'm trying to think of a past. I mean, I have a lot of current ones, but I think from the past.
I could be from current. I mean, that's however you want it. Yeah.
I mean, I really get attracted to people who are like, really passionate about what they do. And like from current, like I know that's probably like a really common, or maybe sort of like, but Oprah, like is one of those people that I really admire, because she came from a background of, really had nothing working for her, and just became so successful. Not just that, but really she's devoted herself to just kind of learning about life, and she inspires so many people around her. So she's always been one that I've always wanted to sort of like, I actually had a friend of mine who knows her. They live in Chicago, and they're neighbors, and she used to tell me little tidbits about her, and it was kind of funny. But I would have loved to just sit down and have a glass of wine with her. And
I would that too. That's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, that's so. If I could just pick sort of off the top of my head, but of course there's so many people I would have loved to meet. But successful female entrepreneurs, honestly, that have shown that there's no excuse. Like I could have had a million excuses, but I actually went ahead and I actually did something with my life, and look at it, she's a billionaire. So, those people really just inspire me.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, and then one more question. So you work with women entrepreneurs and clients, but what if there's a man and wants to be a client? Would you take them, or just women?
It all depends. It's not, I wouldn't say no to somebody if they're a match. So usually what I do is I get on the phone with them for about, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And I just kind of assess whether or not we're a match, because I don't take people on just because I want another client. It's really about, can I help them? And do I feel like they're ready for a coach? Because many people think they should get a coach. And then I can tell immediately that, you're just not ready. You're not willing to invest in yourself, or you're not in time or money. And, if someone has this sort of, if I'm not vibing with them, then I don't take them on. But if a guy came on and I felt like, wow, this is a really good energetic match, absolutely, yeah.
No, I feel the same. Like, some people just are not a good match. Sometimes it's even personality, or sometimes it's just different needs. And sometimes people think like, we're gonna do their work. Nobody can do your work for you.
Right.
It's like if you're going to do the gym, like you get a personal trainer. They're gonna show you how to use the equipment, but they're not gonna do it for you.
Yeah, and it's another thing is like, I'm a tough coach, I can be very tough, because I'm not your best friend. I'm here to get your results. So many people don't like that. They want sort of to have a friend who can chit chat. Oh, you're so awesome. You're so amazing. But it's like, that's not my role. So if I can sort of tell that, oh God, they can't handle my being sort of outright and, tough with them, then, maybe that's not a match either, so we all have a job. We both have a job to do. I'm here to make you successful, because your success becomes my success. So it's really more about finding that when you're on the sort of same level. And, they are out there, but, you just have to get better about finding them, right?
I know.
Yeah.
So this leads me to the question number 2. So what is your favorite thing to do? I think that's going to be so hard, because you have so many things that you like to do, like me. So,
Of
Like
course
your
I could
hobby?
say
I don't know. What do
whatever
you do in the free time?
Yes, of course I could say whatever I do for a living because
Yeah.
that I love to do that. But really my favorite time is to be out in nature with my dogs. I mean, it's when I'm feeling the most connected is when I'm in nature. And that's why I moved up to the Hudson Valley from the city because it's just so beautiful here. It reminds me of Norway and and really that's I always find that it grounds me and it brings me back to what's important. So my favorite time would probably be just hiking with the dogs or something, but being with animals, my favorite thing, I could probably live in sanctuaries and that's my happy place. And that's my big goal is to open my own sanctuary down the line with all the money I'm going to be making from writing and coaching.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I love, that's my favorite thing. Nature is my muse and it grounds me and relaxes me. Like every day, even I tell this to everybody, even if you don't have hours to go, just even go for 2 minutes or open the window, just get some nature or get some flowers or eat a fruit, that's nature. So yeah, I love nature.
Yeah, it's we are so disconnected from it in today's world. We're sitting in front of computers and we're getting everything delivered to us and there's no need to really do anything and be outside. And, many kids don't even know what a carrot looks like because they're used to it being packed up and unrecognizable. So I just, again, it's about bringing it back to basics in every aspect.
Talking about kids not knowing, last year I was in the supermarket and I bought this gigantic bunch of kale, like gigantic. And this one kid was waiting with his mom and behind me online, and he says, "What is this huge Christmas tree?" Like he just didn't know.
Gosh.
And I'm like, no, it's kale. And it's like, kale. Like, what is kale? So yeah, talking about and people are so disconnected, and that's what happened. We're living so with all this virtual, we using internet now, and this is amazing. Technology is amazing, but it's all like in our head, and people go outside, ground yourself, this is so important because otherwise we're not feeling good and then we get sick because we're eating all this and we're sitting in the front of the computer and eating junk food, yes, most of the time, or drinking coffee. These people in the offices I'm talking about, and we're not moving, everything is, we're driving and it's just go to the nature and run with your dogs or do like kids we used to do it, remember? When we were kids, I used to play hours. Always. I didn't want to come home.
Right, always.
And now kids want to be on the computer, they want to be on their iPads, like they don't want to go outside. It's like, yeah, it's so funny. So what else? Did I miss something? What else should we talk about? So I think I went over everything. So you coming with your ebook, are you working with any entrepreneurs? And because I know you like to collaborate with other people. You said you're working on the class. So any other?
Yeah, I'm working with two. I'm working with two entrepreneurs right now. Sort of coming in the coming months. One is Pida Panos. She's actually an energy healer. She lives in Norway actually, but she's South African. And I met her through a coaching program I did last year. And we're going to do something together in January. She has a fantastic website. I think it's pidapanos.com, but I couldn't be sure. But anyway, she's an amazing coach. And she teaches all about, all kinds of energy healing, the divine feminine, that kind of stuff that I absolutely love. And then I have another sort of more copywriting / funnel collaboration in the works with Jessica Wayman. She's an amazing funnel strategist, and I really I think that's a great complete program for somebody who wants to automate, income, putting your online course out there, getting help with copy, like how do I get my messaging across? Like those are the two sort of things that most people are struggling with, is messaging and the tech part. Sometimes it can be very, intimidating.
Oh, yes.
As an entrepreneur, and you're like spending so much time trying to figure out this sales page and this and that. And instead of just having someone actually do that work for you so you can step in and do what you're meant to do and focus on your talents and your zone of genius. So, and there's a couple of other people, Corinne Elliott, who's a dear friend of mine who has an amazing coaching practice as well. So we're doing something together in the next couple of weeks. So there's a lot of things in the works.
And you have your group on Facebook if anybody wants to.
I do.
She has a really awesome group.
Yeah, it's called Plant Empowered Bon Vivants. And again, I was thinking about it when you were talking about earlier, because 80% probably of those people are not vegan, but they are interested in plant, in increasing their veggie intake. So I always call them plant curious, right? So they are attracted to the lifestyle, but they're not quite sure if they want to dive in and actually become vegan. But I really find that fascinating. I really want to learn from them. I want to inspire them to, eat more greens and more vegetables and grains and whatnot in legumes in their diet. But I love my group. So I'm in there daily, and we have little theme days, but it's really more sort of a free for all, not like a promo or anything. It's more just about focusing on food and recipes, inspiration, ideas. People can come if they're stuck, if they need support in any way.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I have my group too, but yeah, that's how I got an idea for my second cookbook, because there's all these people asking me questions. Where do I get my protein? I mean, I'm sure you've heard that's like the first one, yes.
When we get really sort of entangled in our own world, and we think that everybody knows our specialty or what we focus on, and then we forget how little people actually know about certain things. Like I go into a tech group, or I don't know, I can mention all kinds of things, like I don't know things, but they're like, oh my God, you don't know that. So we have to, keep thinking, like, keep educating, keep spreading, information, and then not, making people feel stupid because they're asking a question and like, oh my God, I've answered this question a million times. No, I'm happy that they're asking, because it means they're interested, and you have another chance to reach another person. So it's a welcoming community. Like I said, everyone is like of different, on different levels and in different, stages of life. And I love it, it's fun.
Yeah, and that's what is great about, that's what I love about social media. Not that we want to be on social media all the time, but yeah, get for people, like sometimes clients or friends ask me like, how do I get more involved? Like, yeah, join the group, make your own groups, go for meetups, like, do the potlucks, like vegan potlucks are very popular, and just Google it and you can find it in your areas. And there's so many, then you meet people, then you try different recipes, do cooking classes. Like I do my annual cooking classes, and it's so much fun, so, and I know that you like doing stuff like that too, so.
I think it's really when you're trying to attempt something new, or when you're interested, when you feel that deep down that you're interested in something, or you have a desire to do something, you should definitely listen to it. But a lot of women especially, I'm saying women because I do find that we are sort of more sort of stubborn in that, we insist that we should figure it all out ourselves. And, this is probably the biggest mistake, because there are other people, like-minded people out there that have the same desire as you. So go find them. Like you said, there are potlucks in the areas. There are, probably people who are gathering monthly, to inspire each other. And there's movies, and there's documentaries, and there's coaches, and there's, trainers, and all kinds of people that are willing to help you. Make it so much easier for you to make any type of lifestyle change you want, rather than trying to figure it all out yourself, and then you just get overwhelmed, and then you don't get anywhere. So just reaching out for support, and not being afraid to ask questions, and again, finding your people, I think becomes really important in transitioning to any type of lifestyle change you'd like to go towards.
Yeah, and this is so awesome. And if anybody's interested more about learning about wine, vegan wine and vegan cheese, you definitely check out her website, sannygandara.com. Yes, and then the class is coming this Wednesday, but you're going to have more classes.
Yes.
And yes, so because she has so much information about wine. I mean, I love learning. I know sometimes you do like the classes even in the group and talking about wine, so it's like, I'm like, oh my God, it's like I didn't know any of this. I'm very new to it.
It's a fun thing, like especially now coming up on the holidays, if you want to sort of gather a few couples or a few friends, and you want to do something different other than just having the standard dinner party, inviting me into your room via Skype or even in person. But if you're international, because like I said, I did one in Norway last year and a few others from London, is that you can just invite me in for like 30 minutes and then just say bye, and then you continue, and then you already have that knowledge and you have something to talk about, and it's like a much more fun addition to your party, right? And then that those wines are going to go brilliantly with your food, and you can even get my help in creating a menu for you, and I'll send you the recipes and show you how to make it and via Skype. So it's a really sort of cool concept. So I definitely, if you guys are interested, just get in touch with me. You can also email me at sunny@sunnygandara.com, or just contact me through my website.
Yes, and I will post this link on olenkoskitchen.com on my website, and I will post it on my YouTube on Olenko's Kitchen. So, and
Thank
yeah,
you.
please share it, and yeah, contact her directly. And yeah, I'm gonna have her recipe, Sunny's recipe, included in my cookbook, Live, Love, Light, and Fruits from Olenko's and
Yay,
Friends,
I'm
that is
so
coming
honored.
soon. Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, we're gonna have like
Yeah.
a party, like a book signing, because you're
party.
local. So yeah,
Woohoo.
it's gonna be fun. But how do you say good night in Norwegian? Or like bye?
You say, well, it always sounds so clunky, but bye is horde, so that it's traditional to say have it, like have it. But we
How
don't
you say
really
it?
like good night, horde.
Hode?
Yeah, ha det bra, like have it well,
Okay.
like. But we never say like god kväll is more like a greeting, so you never say good night. You can say god natt, but that means you're actually going to sleep.
Good
So,
night?
god natt,
Good
yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So funny
god
because
natt.
not it's night in Polish.
Oh, so yeah, we are sort of similar.
Yeah, and we
So,
say
yeah.
dobranoc. See, dobranoc. It means good night.
Dobranoc.
Yeah, it's like in Russian, similar to Russian, but yeah.
Oh
so.
yeah. Nice. I like
Yeah,
it.
but-
I like learning languages.
Yeah, are people already sleeping and they're 6 hour? Oh, now with the
that's
time
true.
changing, maybe 5 hours ahead.
It's
Yeah.
6 hours now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
But it was so much fun having you, and
Yay.
yeah, I can't wait to see you in person. Yeah, we
I
don't live
know,
that far, so
dude.
we have to get
Gotta do
together.
it before the end of the year. We have to meet for a holiday cocktail.
Yes, definitely. And I'm gonna come for the next wine class.
Please,
It's
please
just this
do.
Wednesday I can't. But
No
so
worries.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so much fun. And yeah, please check out her ebook and all her Norwegian veganized baking and cooking and all her recipes and her Facebook page and Facebook group. I mean, this girl has so much going on. So yeah, so thank you so much for having.
Thank you for having me.
For having you here. I mean, thank you so much for being here. I'm thanking you for being here, not having you, but yeah, having
My
you
pleasure.
too. Okay,
My pleasure.
so
nice.
good night, and yes, for all of you watching, if you want to be interviewed by Olenko's Kitchen, send me a message or send me an email, or send me an email through my www.olenkoskitchen.com. You never know, because I'm all about spreading the positive message through.
Wow.
I love interviewing different people. So okay, so good night.
Good night.
Yes, nice having you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Facebook Live. Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, were you here? You drinking wine? Oh, beer.